Today, we are debunking the fake news media and the Democrats who say elections are secure. Well, our Election Crime Bureau has spent years digging into evidence, and this morning we're exposing it all. Patrick Colbeck with the Election Crime Bureau here with us this morning. Patrick, good to have you on. It's time to release a tell all. You just released a report of landmark evidence dating back to the 2020 election. In it, 824 findings supported by over 2,500 citations. Let's break it down. We have plenty of time. I know the people want to know, but this is just to prove our elections are not secure.
Yeah, and first of all, I want to make sure Mike gets the credit for this because if it wasn't for his support at the Election Crime Bureau, his dedication to exposing all this election fraud that occurred, not just in 2020, but in many of the elections since and a lot of the elections beforehand, this never would have been possible. So that's why they've been targeting him with lawsuit after lawsuit. I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. But yeah, if you go out to electioncrimebureau.com, you're going to see a link to this report. But if you've been following us on the electioncrimebureau.com website for a while, there's actually more than 824 findings posted there. There's actually over 900 posts of election evidence on that website. It's all organized so that you can sift through it. If you want to read the actual 799-page report on the election, you can just go to the website that they're showing right now and download the full report. I just recommend that you check your toner cartridge levels before you hit print because it is a lot of work went into it. And while some of the findings were findings that I specifically was able to find and dig into and investigate, I want to make sure we also give a hat tip to what I call meddling kids all over the country who have been digging in on this election fraud topic. And frankly, it's not just people within America, it's people all over the world that have been chiming in and helping with the investigations into the 2020 election. And essentially, I'm a data pack rat, so I've collected all that information, organized it, and attempted to do my best to present it in a way that is easy to digest for people, and so people can also, as they're reading it, they can get the answer to the all important questions. So what? And so a lot of work went into it, and I think one of the key findings out of this investigation is that there were patterns of election fraud that spanned the battleground states in the 2020 election. In other words, it wasn't isolated to just what happened in Michigan or what happened in Maricopa County, Arizona, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There were actual similarities between what was done in Michigan and what was done in these other states and other jurisdictions, which indicates that this was coordinated um, up at the high level, which also indicates that we're talking RICO, we're talking racketeering, and we're talking about a federal matter because this is something that deals with multiple states. So I think that's one of the key takeaways from this is that the sheer scope and magnitude of what was done in 2020 is pretty daunting. So it's no surprise that it's taken 5 6 years to go off and pull this information together. And one other very important point to note. So the report itself contains 824 findings, of which over 553 of them are established fact. Um, uh, all that information that I put into this report, this is open source intelligence, which means that it's stuff that I could get via FOIA requests, via website postings that are out there on the internet that are available to everybody. And they're available via affidavits that have been shared to me from people across the globe, frankly. Um, and this is me as a regular citizen. I used to be in the Michigan Senate. I used to have subpoena authority when I did that. I don't have that as a regular citizen, and so this is the point I'm trying to make here is that all this open source intel, this is just the floor of the evidence regarding election fraud. It is not the ceiling. It is just saying, guys, there's a minimum of 824 findings. If you're a federal investigator, if you're somebody in law enforcement, you have tools available to you via search warrants, via subpoenas, that can get into significantly more information than what we've even presented in this 800-page report.
You're absolutely right. And it's an everyday citizen who found this, and it took years to do it. But you send out requests and did some digging, and this is what you found. Patrick, what is maybe two of the top surprises that you found, or two of the top findings that come out of this report?
Well, I think the key note is are these common threads across the various states. So the idea of targeting the people who are investigating the election fraud rather than the people who actually committed the election fraud, that's kind of a common pattern here. And it tells you you're dealing with an organized crime syndicate. And the other part is the record destruction. So the whole idea of pushing this narrative of that we have to delete the information to protect people from being able to make a case around election fraud is something that I think is pretty it's overwhelming. It's very clear that happened in all the battleground states across the country. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and also um, the role that the courts played in this whole fiasco needs to be addressed as well, because there's a whole section in this report. And I break the report down into 10 different attack vectors because that's what this is. It's an attack upon the United States. Our election systems were designated in 2017 as critical infrastructure, which means that an attack upon our election system is an attack upon our country. It's no different than rolling a tank across the border. And so what I found though is that there's many different attack vectors. Just like in a physical kinetic war, you can have a ground war, you can have an air war, you can have a naval war. In this case, there were a variety of different attack vectors, and this judicial malfeasance attack vector, which is one of these 10, was pretty striking. And Vanessa, I'm sure you've heard the narrative that says, there were 64 lawsuits, all decided against people that were asserting election fraud. Therefore, there is no evidence of election fraud, and anybody who asserts otherwise is just trying to stir up controversy where there is none. And what was very clear when I started digging into these 64 lawsuits is that 30 of them were quote unquote dismissed on the merits. All the rest of them were dismissed on procedure, or they were withdrawn voluntarily. And what is interesting is that all the ones that were dismissed on procedural reasons, the Bose versus Illinois ruling declared that process that the judges used to dismiss these cases as illegal. And so half of the cases that we had on the table were taken off because of illegal court procedures and court dismissals. Now, let's look at the other 30, the ones that were quote unquote decided upon the merits. I did a deep dive into those as well. And what we found is that these were all bench trials, which means that it was a judge going back and forth between the plaintiff and the defendant and trying to weigh the merit of the evidence presented. And what we found in particular, so none of them went to jury trial, which would have led to significantly more discovery, more investigations. These are all expedited where the judge became the jury and in these cases. And only 3 of those 30 actually featured any significant discovery. And frankly, only one of them had any substantive discovery from my perspective, and that was the Antrim County lawsuit filed by my late friend Bill Bailey. So, and in that case, not only was there evidence of fraud discovered, but the judge in that case dismissed the case on the fraudulent basis that an audit had been conducted, which was the remedy being sought. The audit had never been conducted, but because the Secretary of State said it was, the judge ruled that it had been. But in his final ruling, he said, I'm not saying that there's not significant evidence of election malfeasance here. What I'm saying is that the remedies that were being sought by the plaintiff have been satisfied. So when you do a deep dive into those cases decided on merits, you find out that they're not saying that there's no evidence of election fraud. Matter of fact, the only way to get some of the real substantive data, like Mike talks about with the PCAPs, is to actually have a discovery phase. And like I said, only 3 out of those 30 featured any discovery. So we've kind of pushed on through and said, okay, fine, we got a dearth of evidence. We're limited to open source intel. I'll tell you, even with all that open source intel, we've got 824 pretty darn compelling findings in this report.
So, what do you do with the report now? I know that it's been released. We have it on electioncrimebureau.com. We have it on LINDELLTV.com. People can go and sift through what has been found. But what next? Patrick, the fake news media is not going to want to cover this. Do you turn it over to Congress? Like, what do you do with these findings? What's your
Well,
goal?
before the public release of the report, I had shared it in private with senior officials in the federal government. So law enforcement is aware of it, they are in possession of it, and we wanted to give them a chance to pursue some of the investigations recommended in the report before it went out to the public. But now we're in the mode where I think it's important that the whole public needs to know that this whole line that says that there is no evidence of election fraud is a bunch of malarkey. One of the reasons that expedited this was the release of the public release of this was that Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker and President Trump. And as you recall, they were going back and forth. She was saying there is no evidence of election fraud. President Trump said there is evidence of election fraud. And finally, he got frustrated with her unwillingness to actually acknowledge the fact that there is significant evidence. And he walked off the set. And I said, you know what? I think it's important for the rest of the world to know the president was right. There is a lot of evidence of election fraud. And, I kind of decided to go overboard a little bit because I'm so tired of hearing this narrative. Not only did we release the report, but I am releasing one of those 824 findings, and actually now over 917 findings. I'm releasing one of them every hour until like we run out of findings, at least right now. And that's right now, it's currently scheduled to go out to July 10th. We're going to have a new release of one of these findings out there. And guys, look at the findings, go off and read them. I mean, I've broken them out into bite sized chunks at Election Crime Bureau. You don't have to read an 800-page report. They're broken out one finding at a time. If you click up on the evidence tab up on the website, what you'll be taken to is a a web page that actually provides us a portfolio of posts or findings, and that evidence is broken out into those different attack vectors that I was talking about. So if you want to dig into judicial malfeasance, go into that attack vector, look at all the different findings associated with it, and dig in. And look, all these findings are supported by citation. Now, not all of them are established facts. Some are disputed fact, and we provide the arguments um, for and against of the respective findings. Some are just reasonable inference. But like I said, the vast majority, these 553 out of the 824 posted in this report, are established fact. And that's kind of tough to dismiss. And I just encourage all your listeners, Vanessa, to share this information. Find the findings of interest to them. Maybe it's addressing something that happened in your community that you're very frustrated that nobody knew about it. Get it out to people. Let them know, because unfortunately, we live in a day and age where you need to win in the court of public opinion before you can win in the court of law. And thankfully, I think we're starting to pick up wind in our sails in the court of public opinion on this, especially in the wake of what happened in California. It's pretty tough to walk away from that hot mess and say that there wasn't evidence of election fraud. But I think people are more tuned in on it. And by the way, the importance of this report is not to go off and re-decide the election results for 2020. I think that ship has sailed. The purpose is so we understand exactly how they've been stealing elections so that we can prevent the theft of future elections, like the all-important midterms for 2026.
Yeah, and we're 130 days away, and you have the Senate who is just twiddling their thumbs, about to take a long break here in the coming weeks. not even passing the Save America Act. You mentioned California. You're right. Big hot mess going on there. But Patrick, you
Well, it's
dig
not a full
into
break. They're
all.
going to be gaveling in so that Trump can't do recess appointments.
Right. And you dig into all of the evidence, but for the average American who doesn't do this for a living, and they can see just from watching us or the news every single day that there is election fraud going on. I mean, eh, no proof of citizenship, that right there is a tell all that there's cheating going on if you don't have to show a voter ID or anything like that. But then you have people like you with the Election Crime Bureau going in and digging deeper into all of the other findings of election fraud. So it's clear as day for everyone to see that cheating's going on, whether you're digging deep into it like you do, Patrick, or you're just living your everyday life and say, hey, this isn't right. You don't have to show an ID to vote. Obviously, there's cheating going on, but we appreciate your hard work and everything you do for the Election Crime Bureau and helping Mike Lindell out in his case as well, with proving that this is just election fraud at its finest. I want to take a look at a graphic now of, I want to turn to Mike Lindell's lawsuit. I'm actually looking at it here of the media coverage. This graphic is spot on, Patrick, that you put together, because when Dominion filed against Mike, it was a frenzy. Everyone covered it. It was on headlines. You'd log on to Google, and that was the first thing that you saw. Mike Lindell sued. But now that the lawsuit's been dropped, it's slow as a turtle. No one is covering it. What can you tell us about this graphic, what we're seeing right now?
Well, actually, we address a little bit of what is being the story that is being told in this graphic in that report. One of the attack vectors is the control of information, and also there's another subtopic on lawfare specifically. And this graphic tells a story of them trying to censor discussion of election fraud because it's obvious when you actually look at this that the whole purpose of filing that lawsuit with such a big number to get the headlines was to silence Mike Lindell and scare everybody else that might want to talk about election fraud from going off and talking about election fraud. That was the obvious purpose of this lawsuit because now that the word's getting out and they've changed ownership, now they don't want to talk about it. But the bottom line is if Mike was wrong, if he was lying about what he was talking about, they'd keep on going with that lawsuit. They didn't. And I think it's obvious that this is part of this overall censorship apparatus. And by the way, this isn't just me saying this as a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. This is United States Congress. Once the Republicans took back control over the U.S. Congress, they issued a report, and I think it was in 2023, from the Weaponization of Government Subcommittee on an organization called the Election Integrity Partnership, which was a consortium of federal government agencies, including CISA, the Global Engagement Center out of the State Department, and the E.I. Isaac Center, which is run by the Center for Internet Security, which under contract to CISA. And these federal agencies were actually actively engaged with big media and big tech to censor specific discussions around election fraud. And so that chart that you showed up there really just highlights that the purpose of that lawsuit and other stories similar to what was conveyed in that lawsuit was to shut down discussion of the 2020 election malfeasance. And if it wasn't for the persistence of Mike and yourself and the folks out at Lindell TV, they might have gotten away with it. But I think the meddling kids are about to pull the mask off of the bad guy on this. And I think we're teeing up the accountability phase. And that's actually one of the big benefits of this report we put together is that it is an orientation guide, not only for the new federal investigators, because they're lawyering up across the board with these prosecutorial teams, but it also helps the American public kind of sort exactly what happened and why didn't I hear about any of this back in 2020.
Absolutely. Well, Patrick, kudos to you as well. You are a blessing to the team and everything that you do, and being very transparent with the American people on what's really happening when they go to vote at these election locations. Once again, I encourage everyone to go to electioncrimebureau.com. That report is there. Again, 824 findings supported by over 2,500 citations. We also have it posted on LINDELLTV.com. So you can find it there as well. Patrick, we appreciate everything that you do. Can't wait to hear more from you. And every hour, you're going to be posting more findings. Where can we find that? On electioncrimebureau.com?
Well, all the findings are at electioncrimebureau.com. I'm pushing it out on my social media accounts and pointing back to that site. So if you follow me up at PJ Colbeck, you'll get on X, you'll get a big dose. Also out on Vocal. PJ Colbeck and out on Vocal, and you'll get that information there as well.
Perfect. Sounds good. Patrick, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Well, President Trump kicks off the Great American State Fair with an epic America 250 rally. The energy, electric, and the National Mall is packed. Look at that crowd. We'll take you there next.
When you read one news source, you get one side. When you read two sources, you get an argument. Read 40 sources, and you get the truth. LindellReport.com, the only place you ever need to visit for your news. From LindellTV, over 40 trusted outlets in one place. No editorial gatekeepers, no hidden bias. Just the day's news. Balanced, unfiltered, ready when you are. Whether you lean left, right, or straight down the middle, this is where you start your day. One click, one feed, one truth. The decision is yours. LindellReport.com. The news you need, the balance you deserve.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including Lindell TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to Lindell TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Welcome back to My Mornings. A massive crowd packed the National Mall as President Trump kicked off the Great American State Fair. Patriots came from around the country for America's 250th birthday, and it was definitely a night to remember. Here's President Trump on stage.
Tonight, right here on the National Mall, we are beginning the most unforgettable birthday party any country has ever seen. Oh, you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a good time. This evening, it's my honor to officially kick off the celebration with the Great American State Fair. It's going to be great. It's going to be unbelievable. So from today through July 10th, this event will showcase all 56 states and territories. There will be no military flyovers, and I want to tell you something, because they're going to be beyond flyovers. There'll be something like you've never seen. You get just a little tiny glimpse of it tonight. By the way, how good is our Air Force? How good is our... Nobody's ever seen those planes. They are serious planes. When the bad guys see those planes coming, they say, we give up. But we're going to have special performances, patriotic music, high-tech demonstrations, unique exhibitions, a FIFA fan zone, which is great, and it really has been big stuff, and even an old-fashioned rodeo. I love rodeo. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Then on July 4th, we will have the greatest show of all on the National Mall. Your favorite president will be speaking. So please show up. Because if we have 2 empty seats, you know what's going to happen? The fake news is going to say, he didn't fill out the arena. No, I'll be speaking. I'll be very proudly speaking as we ring in our 250th year with the largest fireworks display in world history, 10 times larger than any that we've ever done in Washington or in the United States. So if you like fireworks... Then in August, we're going to have what's called the Patriot Games, a first-of-its-kind competition featuring the greatest high school athletes from all across the United States. And applications are open through July 10th. These are the best athletes in the country, young athletes. And soon thereafter, we'll have a Freedom 250 Grand Prix right here in Washington around the Capitol.
And you can't have a birthday party without some dancing. The Great American State Fair lasts for the next 16 days. It's going to be a great time in Washington. And during this time, we are hearing from everyday Americans. Yesterday, we talked about ancestry and immigrants. Today, a story from Charlotte Hurd Blair of Indiana. When asked how far back does your American story go?
I was born and raised in Indiana and went on to schools in Whitley County, Indiana. Growing up for me, it seemed very unstressful. I lived out in the country and lived on a farm, and that farm actually put me through college later on. And it was just a wonderful place as I looked back to live and to grow up. One of the things that I have worked on to find out about my family and my roots, and I looked and found that I probably had patriots in the Revolutionary War. And so I went to work looking back, and over those first years, I found 3 patriots, one in Massachusetts, one in Connecticut, and one in New York. And in fact, when I went out to visit was in Connecticut, but I found the earliest Hurd, which is my maiden name. He was buried out there in 1678. He had come from England, and he was buried there. And I stood there at that gravesite. His stone is still very readable. And it was just hard to walk away, trying to tell him how important what he had done, who had started the American dream for me and my family. My name is Charlotte Sue Hurd Blair, and this is my American story.
Today, we have Terrace Todd, Project 21 Director of Coalitions and Outreach, with us here today. Terrace, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk about Project 21 because I want to learn all about it. But first, let's talk about the celebrations going on right now for America. You know, we've been counting down and looking forward to Independence Day this year for 250, but I don't think it's really hit me until I watched the rally last night and the military flyover. It gave me chills. And then you hear stories like we just heard from great everyday Americans, and it's just another reminder how wonderful our country is. Isn't this just a great time?
Vanessa, you're absolutely right. Thanks for having me, by the way. We live in the greatest nation known to mankind, this way under heaven. God has truly blessed us. We're the great nation. We're not perfect by any stretch, but I'll tell you what, we have declared that it's in God that we'll trust. And I thank God that our founding fathers made for sure that God was at the foundation and the very center of who we are as a nation. You know, my grandfather have similar stories. He grew up in Alabama, and he's always been my hero. He's passed on, and but he served in the military, and he worked hard, and he proved that hard work truly in this country does win. You know, and so my brothers and I, we learned a lot from him, and I never once heard him speak out against our nation. And you know, and during his time, they went through some really challenging times, but he's never spoke out against the country, and because they loved it and they fought in every war defending it.
Absolutely amazing. And you hear so much negativity in the news, and that's why people are turning away from
Mhm.
mainstream now because there's just so
Yeah.
many journalists. I use that term loosely these days, but journalists out there who take everything good and they turn
Yes.
it negative. And there's so much negative that they're spewing. But you look at what happened last night and the
Hmm.
tens of thousands of people who just love our country. And then you hear the stories we just heard, and we've been airing those, for about a week now here on the morning show. I love it. And it brings me back to I'm such a huge defender of our country. I come from a military family, a law enforcement family.
Nice.
And it's just one of those things where if you don't respect your country, what can you respect?
You know, you're absolutely right. Essentially, you have those people out here who are telling us to hate the very thing that uh, makes our existence, it's absolutely nonsense. How do you hate it, but yet you still remain here? But, when you have people coming in from all over the world just to be here, I mean, we're a very generous country as well. I mean, we've on average allowed at least about on average 1 million people to come into this country to experience the American dream, to come here and love our country and work hard and everything else will do well. But we're the only nation on planet Earth where you can gather everyone from all walks of life, from different corners of the globe, and come here and actually live their dream. And so, no other places like that. And so, we thank God for our country. And again, salute to that woman who just had her testimony, and salute to all of our ancestors who made this what it is. And thanks be to God that His hand is on our lives now for you and I to carry it on that legacy.
And I'm glad you brought that up because we are carrying it on to the next generation. And America
Yes.
250 is focusing on families, focusing on
Mm.
kids, showcasing these patriotic children. Here's one right here. Look how cute this
Yeah.
little boy
Yeah.
is. And we
A
have a
salute.
yes, and we have another little story I want to show as we celebrate America 250 of just a younger child who is being taught at a young age how important it is to love our country. Take a listen.
America. America means a lot to me. Just listen and you'll see. I've played soccer at a park in Tennessee with 2 Ukrainian refugees. America means hope and diversity. I'm grateful for our military and civil service workers. America means security and hard work. I have cleaned up every Earth Day ever since I could walk. America means civic action. I've been to the Grand Canyon. America means beauty. And I've been to Beaufort, South Carolina, the birthplace of the Reconstruction era after the Civil War. America means freedom. America is AWESONE.
How cute is he? And
Beautiful.
this is yes, and this is who we fight for. This is why we do
Yes.
Terrace, you as well. This is why we do what we do every single day, is because of little boys like him, the little boy in the picture
Yeah.
before him. That's who we fight for.
You're absolutely right. When I came on as the Project 21 director here, we just recently launched in February our Freedom Fellowship program, which we bring in the next generation of Gen Zers and young millennials. And yesterday was awesome because we flew a couple of our fellows in from Kansas and from the great state of Georgia. And we brought in one from Maryland as well. And they had their day on the Hill, and they got a chance to go and sit down and meet with their members of Congress to talk about policy issues that they were concerned about, that they could help make our nation a better place. And so again, we're thinking generational here at Project 21 as well. And so it's beautiful to see that young man at such a young age take pride in his country, because that's really who we are, and that's how we should be going forward.
Absolutely. And, it's the parents at home we have to give kudos to because,
Yes,
it starts at home. It starts with their teachings.
that's right.
I went with my son yesterday to a school and he ran into the classroom. And the first thing he ran to was in the back of the classroom, the American flag. And I told the director, I said,
Nice.
well, that's my baby. He ran straight to the American flag, toys everywhere, but he went to the flag. But it starts at home. You have to teach them, right
Yeah.
from wrong and teach them love. Hate is taught.
Oh,
Kids
yes, it
don't
is.
know hate.
That's right.
Hate and division is taught, and there's no reason why
Yeah.
that should be taught at home. It shouldn't be taught anywhere. But
No.
there's so much love in this country. There's more good than evil, and it's because
That's
of
right.
you and because of Lindell TV. Mike Lindell loves
Yeah.
everyone. He's just a man with a big heart. We just have to keep spreading that love, and you do
Yes.
that with your organization, Project 21. I want to know more about it on a personal level as well, but let's talk to our viewers. What exactly do you do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I do a lot of outreach, and just exactly what you said. We spread love. We build coalitions and relationships with Americans from all over this country. It is the Black Leadership Network here. It's a program of the National Center for Public Policy Research, but Project 21 specifically, it was launched back in 1992 as a result of what was going on with Rodney King, because, national media was not taking in consideration of Black conservative thought. And so as a result, Project 21 was birthed. And so ever since then, we've been elevating the voices of Black conservatives and those who love this country, those who are from the military, those who are in ministry, and so on. And we're elevating their voice in media. And so we have a great team here at the National Center to do just that. And so, again, when I came on board, I said, hey, we got to reach the next generation. And so thanks be to God, we had true American patriots out of this great state of Ohio, the Kapitansky Family Trust. They put up the donation to help us launch our Freedom Fellows program. And so we launched in February, and we had our day on the Hill yesterday. And so cohort 2 is loading up the week after the 4th, and we're excited to have the new people join us as well.
That's amazing. And I'm actually looking at your website right now. You have different programs. You have the Free Enterprise Project,
Yes.
Project 21, Able American. So if people go
Yes.
to your website, they'll
Mhm.
be able to learn more about this.
That's right. Yep, nationalcenter.org or even project21.org, and it'll take them there and see all of our programs there. Thank you.
And yes, absolutely. And then you can go to contact for people to get involved. Again, reaching the next generation. I'm looking at your homepage. A lot of news of what you do as well.
Mhm.
Latest news: closing the DEI disclosure gap. No one is safe from the pro-death agenda.
Mhm.
Black conservatives recognize the vital role of fathers and father
Yes.
figures. So a lot
Mhm.
of great articles and publications there as well.
Wonderful. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. We actually just launched our fatherhood monograph, which is part of it's the 10th in our series of different booklets that we put out on different topics. One we had on election reform. So there's something that you had former Senator Patrick Colbeck on here, because I'm from the great state of Michigan originally. And so I know him
Okay.
very well. Yeah, I'm a former not VP, but vice chair of the Michigan GOP. And so I know Patrick Colbeck as well. But yeah, we launched our fatherhood monograph, and we're highlighting the importance of fathers and familyhood formation back into our communities, because God put us in a family, and that's the center of everything. And that family is supposed to represent the family of God. And so should be have a father and a mother at the helm raising their children in their home. So yeah, that's what we did.
Well, you're doing great work for just launching, right? Did you say in
Yes.
February?
Yeah,
February already
we
at the
launched our
Capitol?
freedom. Yeah, we launched the Freedom Fellowship in February, and we just completed cohort 1, which was our day on the Hill, and so cohort 2 is kicking off the week after the 4th, and so but the monographs has been going on for years, and so the latest we had was on fatherhood and family formation and the importance of fathers being actively engaged in their children's lives.
Absolutely. So important. Well, Terrace, you do a wonderful job. I love to get
Thank
to know
you.
you and your
You
program
as well.
today. And thank you. And everything that you do. I encourage everyone, again, go to the website, nationalcenter.org. And you also says it's project21.org. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Project21.org, nationalcenter.org. You can see there is a contact tab at the top. Please contact them today. They are doing great things across the country, and you're really taking off. So we want everyone to jump on board and get involved with you. Terrence,
Yes.
good to have you on the show today. Thanks for stopping
You
by.
too. Vanessa, God bless you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And more to come here on My Mornings. President Trump heads to the Capitol, meeting face to face with senators. More on that meeting next. But first, music from the U.S. military band kicking off the All-American State Fair.
Mike Lindell here. The radical left and the deep state aren't just coming for our freedoms, they're coming after our money too. For years, they've been destroying our economy from the inside out with reckless spending, open borders, woke policies that crush our businesses. And now they've left us with an inflation disaster that's wiping out the savings of our hardworking families. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on the government. Well, that's not going to happen on my watch. That's why I partner with American Independence Gold. It's a veteran-owned company that's helping patriotic Americans fight back by protecting our savings with real physical gold and silver. And right now, they're giving away up to $15,000 in free silver and a free gold IRA kit. A portion of all the profits go to 9/11 first responders and veterans at the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The deep state can't touch your gold, so visit MikeLindellGold.com or call 844-714-4653 right now. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Take back control. You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS, while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater, and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell.
Let's see how the markets are opening today. Here is a live look from MarketWatch.com. You are looking at the big board, the Dow, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. Wall Street is looking at a sharply higher morning. That's what we're expecting, led by a tech rebound. AI-related stocks are surging after upbeat forecasts from major chip makers. Investors are also watching closely for new inflation data. That should be due out later today, so we're waiting for that, and that could provide clues about the Federal Reserve's next move. So we're keeping an eye on what happens with that today. In your news to go, a look at other news headlines we're following today. Rescue crews are racing against time in Venezuela after two massive earthquakes struck just seconds apart. The quakes, measuring 7.2 and 7.5, they collapsed buildings, damaged infrastructure, and sent residents running for cover. Really sad to see the scene there. At least 164 people have been confirmed dead, nearly 1,000 confirmed injured. Authorities say the death toll is expected to rise. A nationwide state of emergency has been declared. The United States is sending aid to help in the recovery. The president was at the Capitol building yesterday meeting with Senate Republicans. He is fighting for the Save America Act to be passed and backing on Iran.
I think we had a really great meeting, and we're very proud of the party. We like everybody really in the room. I don't like a few people, but that's okay. I think you know who they are. But I'll give you that information someday. But for the most part, we have a really well unified party. And I said it very strongly. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the most powerful. We're the smartest. We're the most respected. 2 years ago, we were a laughing stock all over the world. We had a terrible group of people representing us. Every leader, I just left G7. Every leader, and we had a lot of people in addition to G7, as you know, came. Everyone said, what we've done in a year and a half is a miracle. We have the hottest country in the world, and we want to keep it that way. We have more factories being built right now than we have at any point, at any time in the history of our country. And all of those factories are opening up soon. It's all jobs. And our job numbers are incredible anyway. I see that oil just broke the $70 number. Who would have thought that was going to happen? And that's during a war. And Iran is being very nice. They're agreeing to everything that I want. And they have to. Otherwise, we just go back and do what we have to do. Thank you very much.
And in a Q&A with the press, the president called the reflecting pool vandals thugs. Watch.
The pool? Yes. It's in great shape. No. Ready? Thugs. They just told me a little while ago, 6 have been arrested, and like 6 or 7 are under investigation. They have pictures and everything else. They went to the bottom, and it's not a paint job. It's very expensive. It's not rubber, but it's like rubber. And they went down with probably a box cutter or a very sharp razor of some kind or a knife, and they cut, and then they started ripping it up. You know why? Because they're sick people. And then the side of the pool, right at water level, they took razors and they started cutting this, very expensive stuff. It's incredible stuff. It's beautiful. And it was and it's still beautiful. But we have one area where they cut it. It's still holding. It's not leaking. But they heard it. So in about probably maybe after July 4th or maybe before. I don't know. We'll let a little water out because it's at the edge. They'll cut it, they'll replace it, and it'll be as good as new. But these people should go to jail for a long time. You know, there's a statute that I signed when I had my first term that if you do anything to hurt statues or monuments, fountains in Washington, D.C., or federal fountain, it's actually federal all over the country, but you go to jail for 10 years and there's no shortcuts. In other words, it's not 5 years for good behavior. It's a very tough statute, and so tough that it really hasn't been used very much over the years. But I used it when they had a problem in Washington where they were trying to hurt, you know, the sickos were trying to hurt things, and I announced it. As soon as I announced it, read it, announced it, and I said 10 years for anybody. Everybody dropped what they had, including ropes. They had ropes. They were tying ropes around Thomas Jefferson's head. Andrew Jackson right up there. They had a rope around his head on that incredible statue. I said, as soon as I invoked it, everybody left. That's still in play. They could go to jail for 10 years. They better be careful. They have a gash on that beautiful pool. It's a reflecting one. This is the most very expensive material. Then on top of it, we did a much bigger job than we said we were going to do because we did all the outer areas and everything. We did a beautiful job. It's like a piece of glass. And for some reason, this disturbed the radical left lunatics. You know, one of the guys, he's a member or a big payer to Act Blue. He's a big Hillary supporter. He's a big supporter of Sleepy Joe Biden. No, this is a very political thing. But as I understand it, 6 are under arrest. This was pure vandalism. It's an amazing thing that we did. Don't forget, it hasn't worked properly since it was built because it always leaked in 1922. So it was built in 1922. So that's 100 years more ago. It's never worked properly. I always say it had great potential.
It does have great potential, and it's looking great. It's going to look even better once renovations are done once again. Well, the president is back at it today. Here is his schedule. At 8 o'clock this morning, he held an executive meeting. At 2 this afternoon, he will have a meeting with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. At 3:30, he will hold a policy meeting. At 6 o'clock this evening, a tele-rally. And then after that, at 7 o'clock, he will attend a Rose Garden Club dinner with American farmers. For all of your top headlines today and every day, make sure you log on to LINDELLTV.com. Lots of great news there that you can catch up on. You can also download the Lindell TV app, which is free in your app store. Now to our Bible verse of the day coming from the book of Philippians. The Bible says, "And my God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. Now to our God and Father be the glory forever and ever. Amen." That is your daily Bible verse of the day. A reminder to follow me on social media. I am live right now, actually, on Rumble, X, and YouTube. Hard to keep up, but we're doing it. The commercial breaks and beyond. I love chatting with all of you. Make sure you're connected on X, Vocal, Truth Social, Instagram, and YouTube. We are there right now. Also, don't forget, you can go shopping on mypillow.com and mystore.com. Big sales going on right now. Use the promo code Vanessa. Mike Lindell was on the show yesterday, and he even spit it out for you. Use the promo code Vanessa. You know, Mike was really generous. When I first started working for him, he gave me a promo code. I went and tested it out, and I could not believe the huge savings that he is giving to all of you by using that promo code. Very generous, very kind. So make sure that you go shopping, use the promo code, support Mike and all the great patriots there at MyPillow. Use the promo code Vanessa for extra savings. And that'll do it for us here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you all same time, same place tomorrow. And we leave you today with sights from Washington, D.C. as Freedom 250 lights up the Washington Monument. Have a great day.
And like everybody else out there, I have used my arm, folded my pillows, got migraines in the morning from sleeping on poor pillows, and pillows are the problem. There is no bigger problem than a pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it holds that support all night long to take the pressure off your shoulders and keep your neck aligned. One's the size of a quarter, one's the size of a dime, and one's the size of down. Inside every pillow, they're interlocked together. You see how that holds?
Oh my gosh.
That
It's
will
soft,
not
but
migrate.
supportive.
Wherever you set that, you get exactly what you need for your individual neck support. I do all of my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota, and every part of my pillow is made in the USA. It's machine washable and dryable, and it comes with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a full 10-year warranty. Sleep is one of the most important things to your health, and my pillow is one of the most important things to your sleep.
So go to mypillow.com or call 800-676-2147. Use promo code LTV to take advantage of this exclusive LINDELLTV offer. Order now.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
When you read one news source, you get one side. When you read two sources, you get an argument. Read 40 sources, and you get the truth. LindellReport.com, the only place you ever need to visit for your news. From LindellTV, over 40 trusted outlets in one place. No editorial gatekeepers, no hidden bias. Just the day's news. Balanced, unfiltered, ready when you are. Whether you lean left, right, or straight down the middle, this is where you start your day. One click, one feed, one truth. The decision is yours. LindellReport.com. The news you need, the balance you deserve.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LindellTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LindellTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
Too many pharmacies and insurance companies are blocking the medications that actually work. That's